Chet Chat is underwritten by the law offices of Tim Fields and Faux Orchid, the nouvelle cuisine of Vietnam.
Hi, I'm Chet Porchot, and welcome to an all-new Chet Chat. We're excited about our new set and also the second annual wedding special. This month we have the top honeymoon destinations that are trending right now. And of course, in our DIY segment, we have second line umbrellas and of course, cakes and more. So guys, let's do this. Design Show, Chet Chat. Design Show, Chet Chat.
I'm Chet Porchot, and I've got designs. I'm Chet Porchot, and I've got designs. I'm Chet Porchot, and I've got designs for New Orleans. I'm Chet Porchot on LAE. I'm Chet Porchot on LAE. Chet Chat on LAE. Chet Chat on LAE. I'm Chet Porchot.
When planning your wedding, one of the biggest decisions you're gonna make is where to honeymoon. So today, Kathy Gaffney of Travel Corp is here to give us a look at the top honeymoon destinations for 2013 and 2014. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I think one of the most important things when we were talking about doing this show is to bring in a travel agent to kind of talk about if somebody's gonna plan their honeymoon, why should they use you? Why is that important?
Well, it is very important, and think about it this way. You're planning a wedding, you have a great investment in it,
right,
and you probably have a wedding planner, even if it's just somebody at your house that's helping you. Why would you let your travel plans go by the wayside and just be something that's an afterthought? You don't want to do that. So a travel agent comes in and becomes your advisor. You know, think of it as the same thing with your travel, with your wedding planner. It's a travel advisor.
Right.
A travel advisor, such as myself, would have clout and connections with general managers of hotels, with airline executives, with tour companies. We have inside scoop. We have a lot of clout because we have traveled all over. We attend trade shows. We are constantly keeping in touch with the travel industry. And so we can sometimes get things for our clients that they can't get themselves.
Right. How far in advance should a couple come to you to plan their wedding?
Well, I always say that as soon as you start planning the wedding, let's start planning the honeymoon, even if it's just to start narrowing down what you think your choices might be. The earlier out, the better, because then you're going to get the best room available. You're going to get the best guide available. So the earlier the better, but don't not contact an agent just because you think that it's last minute. We can always try to get something for you.
That's excellent. That's good. That's very good advice. So we're talking about the top honeymoon destinations for 2013 and 2014. Tell us what they are.
Well, you'd be surprised. Of course, it's always going to be something like Paris, you know, France and the French countryside.
People think of that as like.
But I know you just came back from Thailand.
I did.
Thailand is hot right now, and one of the reasons, and probably because you've been there, you know that, is it's relaxing.
Yes.
But you get the most beautiful beaches.
Yes.
But you can go and do some fun things and have great food, and the people are wonderful.
The people are amazing.
And you get a good bang for your buck.
I was just about to say that, and it's a good deal.
A real good deal. Real good deal. You also have places like St. Lucia. St. Lucia in the Caribbean is one of the top destinations, and it has been trending that way for several years now. It's not as easy to get to by air, but we can make the routing work. But there's, for all budgets, you can get in St. Lucia and see beautiful things, beautiful beaches and fabulous resorts. Then you've got Europe. You've always got Italy, the Tuscany, again, France, the French countryside, and Paris. You've got all over Europe is trending, but Italy and France are the two big hotspots right now. Of course, one of my favorites is Spain. And I know yours is too.
Yeah, I love Spain.
And that is a wonderful place to go to.
So is New Orleans a destination?
New Orleans is always a destination.
All right.
Yeah, domestically you're going to find Orlando is just one of the top destinations all the time, and people will go to Vegas. But New Orleans is so hot here because people want to come. They see the second line umbrellas. They see people coming out of St. Louis Cathedral and going through, you know, Jackson Square, and from people all over, and even from Europe, will come here for their wedding, you know, as a destination, and bring people with them. And that's one of the things we can help with too.
That's excellent. So you've been in the business for almost 20 years, you said.
Almost 20 years, yeah.
How have you seen like the wedding destinations change in the last 20 years?
You know, it's totally changed because people now tend to think of their honeymoon as a real adventure.
Right.
Even though they want to relax and have some romantic time, most people want to go have an adventure.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't have thought of zip lining in Costa Rica
Right.
15 years ago, probably.
Right.
You know, you would have thought about going someplace like Paris and having some romantic dinner. Again, Disney World is a big place too. But that's one of the changes we're seeing, is that people are really focused on seeing more things,
right.
getting out there. You know, we've
Being
become so much more global with the internet that people now see all these other things that are out there, and they really want to experience them.
Okay, so
and that's what we do. We create experiences.
And that's important when you're going on a honeymoon, right?
That is very true.
So before we wrap up, you've been in this business 20 years. If you had to give one bit of advice to a bride and groom that's going to be planning their honeymoon, what would that bit of advice be?
The advice would be, seriously, do not skimp on not getting a travel agent.
Gotcha.
People are going to ask about fees. If you go online and you're going to do your travel online, all you're going to get is a reservation number.
Right.
And you're going to pay a fee. They do charge fees. Most travel agents don't charge fees. Airline tickets, you will pay probably for a fee. But for the other things, we don't charge fees for, because we have this in with these companies and we work with them. And so let us be your concierge. Let your travel agent be the one that personalizes it for you and makes it as stress-free as possible. You don't want to be standing in line at an airport and know that your flight got canceled and you're on your own.
Yeah.
Travel agent will help you.
That's real important. So we have to wrap up. But if somebody wanted to get information on how to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that? Well,
we are here locally in New Orleans.
Which is very important, because this is a local show.
Yes. And you can reach Travel Corp. You can reach me at 504-799-2982. That is directly to my desk.
Okay.
Or you can call our general number, 504-599-5704. We have a website, which is www.travelcorp.com, but it's TRVLCORP.com.
Okay.
Or you can email me, but call and, or you can find my email, you know, through the website too.
Yeah, and we're going to post that also on the Chet webpage, all that information, so people can go back and look.
And we have Twitter, and we have Facebook. It's so easy to get in touch with us now. Again, like I said, it's global. Everything's global.
Right, right.
You know?
Well, thank you so much for being here. This
Thank
has been some great, useful information.
This is wonderful. Just make sure that everybody knows, don't skimp. It's your wedding, and you want it to be perfect, and that's what a travel agent will help you do.
And that's what you'll help them do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Guys, stay with us. We'll be right back with our cooking segments. We have some wedding cakes we're going to talk to you about.
I am for the child who lives in motels, cars, and shelters, now in foster care, a group home, where he sleeps not on a bed, but on a temporary cot. He is the child I am for. I am a CASA volunteer. I am you.
Guys, for today's cooking segment, we have Danielle Ross and Monique Landash from Pure Cake with some delicious treats. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, thanks for having us.
So your business is on Ferret Street, right?
Yes.
So why did you choose to go to Ferret Street? It seems to be an up-and-coming place. Why did you guys choose to be on Ferret Street?
Honestly, we got lucky. We were looking for a location that would kind of fit for us, and we stumbled across it and jumped on it and haven't looked back. And we've been we had a lot of fun being on that street. We have a lot of fun neighbors, and it's a real community feel there, and we love it.
That's awesome, that's awesome. So recently, I was on a national TV show called Worst Cooks in America, and one of our challenges was actually baking cakes. I did a great job with actually decorating the cake. The baking part of it, not so much.
Science is tricky.
Yeah, tell me, why is that?
Baking is definitely a very technical form of cooking. You can't just fudge it. You don't make it up as you go. We follow really specific formulas. Everything that we do is weighed out. I mean, it's really precise.
Okay.
In order to get consistent results, you have to be really precise with it.
Okay, so let's say I was getting married. I decided that I wanted to purchase my wedding cake. How far in advance should I come to you guys to, like, you know, make a decision on what my cake's gonna be?
There's a popular wedding season in our city, and it basically revolves around hurricane season. So October to about April, May is when it really gets busy. So we always suggest if you're getting married during those months to book your cake somewhere between 6 to 9 months in advance. Especially with a business like us, we're really small, we're very custom, so we only do a limited number of cakes per weekend.
Gotcha.
So the further out, the better.
Okay, and I know all about custom. I do interior design work, so it's really all about custom, but you get exactly what you want when you do custom, and I think that's what's great about your business is you actually cater to the person or to the specific client. You know, how do they find out what they want? I mean, do they bring you pictures, or what's the best way to get started with the process?
When we book a consultation with a couple, we strongly recommend bringing any form of inspiration that they have already set in stone. So if it's pictures of their venue, invites, color scheme, flowers, anything that we can draw inspiration from. The dress is very popular. So all of those items make that cake very unique and one of a kind, and we design something for them, edit it until it becomes perfect and it becomes their wedding cake.
That's great. That's excellent. So I guess we got to get started.
All right, so what we're doing today is we're going to show you kind of how we start to finish assemble a really simply decorated wedding cake.
Right.
So what I've got here is our chocolate cake, and I've already started to fill it with salted caramel. So I'm going to go ahead and do the last layer of the caramel, and then we can move on to doing a really simple design.
So when you're picking out a filler for your cake, is it something that you guys direct them to? Is it a trend for that, or is it what the bride and groom actually, you know, what the flavors that they like? How do you decide on that?
Well, this caramel is something that we make from scratch, and it's become our most popular item.
Nice.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I put a little buttercream jam around it just to keep the caramel from oozing out the side. And I'm going to spread the caramel around.
So that's like your signature kind of thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, have you tasted it?
I have not, but you know I will.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
It's very popular, and what I usually recommend when I'm in a consultation is if they're a little bit weary of offering all of that to their guests, to do half and half. It's popular right now to have a couple of different flavors. So offer half of the really trendy caramel flavor and then half of the traditional wedding cake.
So I've got a little bit of, it's actually Murray River salt. It's a fancy sea salt that I love. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit so you get that nice salty sweet contrast whenever you bite into it. And then I'm going to top it with this other layer of cake. I already leveled the layers so that it's all going to stack up really nice and neat, so you have a nice straight flat cake to start with. I've done it once or twice before.
So easy.
So then the next step is going to be moving on to one that I've already crumb coated.
Okay.
So after that, with this cake, I would just do a light layer of buttercream on it and then put it in the fridge until it's nice and chilled. And then we can start with our final decorating layer because I've got a nice base for it. I'm not going to get a bunch of chocolate crumbs. Like you can see the chocolate through the buttercream. And we'll put a nice thick layer so that we can cover all that up.
Tell me some of the trends right now in wedding cakes.
What's really trending right now, and it's a little bit difficult since you have to plan it so far in advance, so we try to keep things a little bit classic. Texture is really big right now. I mean, you can see in all of our display cakes, even what we're about to show you today, there's just different techniques for that. What's really big right now is gold.
Really?
Gold is huge right now. A lot of people are pairing it with a blush pink color, just to kind of, they go very great together. They're very subtle and romantic. Very feminine looks, a lot of dress designs. We're pulling lace, things like that. Vintage is really popular, kind of going back to that vintage, old world look. So that's what's trending right now, and people are booking that for now. They're booking it for October.
Right.
So, you know, it's here for a while.
You know, it's funny you said that gold and vintage is what's trending in cake design, because it's also trending in interior design.
too.
So it usually, when something trends, it will start out, guys, in fashion, and then it usually just works its way down to everything else. So I think that's great that
it starts to spread.
Yeah, it starts to spread. So I know, when you think of wedding cakes, you really think of the wedding cake. But what about a groom's cake? How important is that?
Groom's cakes are really important in New Orleans.
Okay.
They are very important. Even with people, I mean, since it's such a big destination city too, there's people coming in and they're not even familiar with it. And once we start to describe it and show them photos, they're on board.
Right.
You know, it's a little nod to the groom. It's usually his one little area where he has a say-so.
It's his thing.
Absolutely. And they get really crazy. They're a lot of fun to do. People start to question if they're actually cake. You know, it's a great little personal way to incorporate the groom in his interest.
So how long have you guys been in business?
We've been in business since last February, so we're a little bit over a year now.
And what drew you to open a custom cake design business?
It's a passion. We both are self-taught, and we've both done a lot of
self-taught.
Self-taught.
Really?
Absolutely. I actually have a background in interior design as well, so that artistry and the creativity's always been there. And we've just done a lot of researching, playing around, and developing recipes, and realized, you know, this is what we want to do, and it makes sense to do it together. We work as a great team and a great partnership. So. It's been a dream come true.
That's awesome. Because with any business, I think if you don't have a great team, you don't really have a good business. And
Absolutely.
I could tell even before we went on that you guys, just the way you guys interacted with each other. I mean, if I was getting married, I'd come to you for my cake just because I could tell that you guys really work really well
We
together.
spend 12 to 14 hours a day together.
We
so,
finish sentences.
yeah.
I mean, we don't have to say anything.
If we didn't get along, we probably would have killed each other.
Probably by now, right?
Well, why don't you go ahead and
Okay.
finish up and explain.
All
what
right,
you-
so I just did the buttercream texture. I put a thick layer of the frosting on so that I had something that I could work with.
Okay.
And then I just ran my spatula around, and it added this nice little texture to it. So what I would do at this point normally is I would put this back in the fridge and then kind of come back in here and clean up some of the spaces where there's like little, you know, little knobs of buttercream that aren't quite as pretty as what we would leave on a finished product.
But we'll show some really beautiful pictures of some finished products.
Yeah,
later,
and this is one of the most simple designs that we can do. So what I would do now is just go ahead and add a little rosette border around the bottom of it. It's just a pretty little finishing touch just to add a little bit more.
I love it just the way you just a little finishing touch for you.
So I've got a star tip on my piping bag.
And that's what also I learned on Worst Cooks is that this piping bag, they come with different type of tips, right?
Oh, yeah.
And depending on what kind of tip you use, it could be good or it could be a disaster. You know, so I'm glad. The whole process of what you guys do, I think I have a newfound respect for you because I think it really is chemistry. You have to figure it out. Because not only do you have to have a cake that looks amazing,
exactly.
it has to taste
good.
good.
It has to taste great too. And we take a lot of pride in that, and we've worked on both ends of that to make it taste just as good as it looks.
Yeah.
Because people will come in and say, I've had several wedding cakes and they just never taste as good as they look.
Right.
So
I did this a little bit faster than what I would normally do, so it's not quite as even as I would normally do. But you can get an idea of how we get from one point to the next.
Absolutely. If somebody wants to get in touch with you guys to talk about their wedding or any other kind of custom cake they wanted to do, how would they go about doing that?
Well, we are located on Ferret, which is very easily accessed throughout the entire city. We're 5035 Ferret Street. Our phone number is 504-872-0065. We also have a website. It's www.purecakenola.com. We are available on Facebook, Twitter, thenot.com, which is a great resource for weddings, even destination. So several different ways to get in touch with us.
Well, ladies, it's been fun. Thank you so much for being here.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Guys, stay with us. We'll be right back with the Do-It-Yourself segment.
Because play might be the best way to fight obesity.
Because staying connected makes my family stronger.
Because a safe place after school can lead to success in school.
Because physical activity is vital to my health and well-being.
Because I need to make my world better.
Because playing team sports teaches character and social skills.
Because we need each other.
Because we need each other.
Because we need each other.
Guys, what's a New Orleans wedding without a second line umbrella? Alberta Floyd Brooks is here to show us today how to put a personal touch to a New Orleans wedding tradition. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Chet.
I'm actually thrilled that you're here. I was at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and you know, one of the things at the wedding that I thought was really special was at the end when the bride and groom came out and they second line with their umbrellas. And so I know that you are the master kind of doing these second line umbrellas, right?
Yes, I am, Chet. My slogan is, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And at Floyd Simply Elegant, we strive to be the best that we can be.
You also do other things besides just umbrellas, right? You have a full service wedding and event planning.
I have a dream team, Chet.
Okay.
And we try to meet the needs and the wishes of the bride and groom on their special day.
Okay. So today, this is our DIY part of the show, guys, and you're going to show us how you put a personal touch to that second line umbrella, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Chet.
let's go at it. This is my favorite part of the show, so I'm ready for it. What do we do first?
Okay, first we need to establish the different materials we need to make our umbrellas. First, we will need for the bride and the groom.
Don't forget the groom now.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. We're going to need 19-inch umbrellas.
Okay.
Secondly, we're going to need marabou.
Okay.
Marabou is the trim that goes at the bottom of your umbrella. You're going to need 2 pieces.
Okay. And you just measure that around to whatever the circumference of the umbrella is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's glued on with a special type of adhesive that will make the marabou stick.
Okay.
The next thing we're going to have is the trim.
Okay.
What's special about the trim is that you can get your trim in many different colors. And what we do at Floyd Simply Elegant is meet the colors of the wedding party. And that's important to us.
Guys, she just gave you a DIY tip. If you're doing these umbrellas, make sure that you're matching the color of the trim to your wedding party. That's a good tip. You must watch this show.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
What's next?
Okay, the next thing that you need will be your appliques.
Okay.
Appliques come in different sizes. You can get some appliques that says words, such as groom.
Right.
You can get some that has pictures of birds, wedding bells.
And wedding cakes.
Wedding cakes,
yes.
My favorite.
Okay.
And the champagne glasses, yes.
So can a bride and groom bring you the appliques, or do you have this at your shop that they can go through and pick out some appliques on their own?
Well, I have them already at the shop.
Okay.
And once a bride and groom comes in and they look at the portfolio, they will see all of the appliques that I offer to them.
Okay.
And they can select which applique they would like on their umbrella.
Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, let's get started. I'm ready to start doing some DIY. What's the first thing we're gonna do?
First thing we're gonna do is use some of our tools.
Okay.
We have 2 tools here today.
Okay.
We have a seam ripper and we have a pair of shears. The seam ripper is used mainly to remove the attachment to the umbrella, the closing strap. You have to be very careful with this, Chet, because you can rip your umbrella.
Gotcha.
And
we don't want that to happen
no,
on our wedding day.
we wouldn't want that to have a hole in our umbrella. No. This next thing we're going to have to use will be our shears.
Okay.
This is used to cut our trim for the ribs of the umbrella and the piece that's left of the marabou for the top of the umbrella.
Okay, let's start adding some of this stuff to it so we can see what's the process. I will hold this if you want to do your magic. What would you like for me to do first?
Okay, what I would like for you to do first is just place your hand here and go in a circular motion.
Okay. Is it so easy even I could do it?
Yes, it is, Chad, and you're about to. Chad, and the reason that we go in a circular motion is to make sure that we catch all the part of the marabou. And we're going to do one section at a time.
Gotcha.
Because we want to make sure we have our marabou placed on.
Is it a certain way? You want to start it first and then
we want to place this here. And we want to just start right where the glue is, the adhesive is, and you just want to.
Oh, I could do this.
Yes.
Okay. This is pretty simple. Okay. And then
now with this adhesive, it becomes tacky, but it will not dry.
Okay.
Until you have to give it at least 15 minutes.
I'm getting excited already. I feel like I'm on a second line right now.
Oh, you will be able to.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Chet, I want you to take and do the next portion of the umbrella.
Okay. Let's see
Remember,
if I
we're
can do
doing
that.
circular motions.
I know you told me you're a former retired teacher, so I'm very cautious making sure that I'm actually doing this right. So here we go. We do this in a circular motion.
That's great.
And then put your hand on the outside of it and kind of just tack it down.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's add something else to it just so we can show how do you use the applique, and then we're going to show you guys the finished product.
Our next step would be covering the ribs of the umbrella. Our ribs are located down the side.
Do we do the same kind of swooping motion on that, or we just go straight down?
We go straight down the side of the ribs, Chad.
Okay.
Good job.
Am I doing a good job for you?
Yes, good job, good job.
Okay.
Okay, and you just You start at the top.
God, this could be fun. But you know,
It is.
this is something that, you know, the bride and groom can do themselves, or absolutely, you know, if it's for another holiday, you can also do this as well for, you know, like you said, for graduations, anniversaries, any kind of party you have, and you can definitely have an umbrella like this, right?
You can have an umbrella.
Okay. God, I see it's coming together already.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have to make sure that you have this in place.
Okay.
And the best thing about this adhesive is that once it's dry, it stays clear.
Okay.
It stays clear, Chet.
Okay, so we absolutely, if we could cut this, we have to wrap up, but we're gonna show the finished product of what you have done.
You know.
So these are the steps here, and then you have bought us, this is the finished product of what you did.
That's the finished product. That's one of Floyd Simply Elegant's signature umbrellas.
And this is a, you would use this for the saints, or?
For weddings, because sometimes the bride and grooms, they love sports.
Right.
And you can use it for football games. You can use it for weddings, and it's really nice, especially when a bride is for the Saints and
the groom
is for
Somebody
49ers
else.
or someone else.
But we live in New Orleans, we're always going to be for the Saints,
Yes,
right?
yes, go Saints.
Yeah, so if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's your website?
My website is floydsimplyelegant.com.
Okay.
Or you can contact me by phone, and my phone number is area code 504-277-4744. And my email address is...
She's not missing a beat. Go ahead.
floydsimplyelegant@gmail.com.
Well, listen, thank you so much for being here. It's been a fun segment. Good luck to you and your business.
Thank you so much, Chet, for having me
Oh,
here.
you're welcome. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's show and got some really great ideas. I'd like to thank all of my guests for being here today. If you're a local business or an organization that you would like to see featured on an upcoming episode of Chet Chat, it's simple. Just email us your suggestions at chetchatshow@gmail.com. And for more information about this episode, you can visit my website at www.chetporshowdesign.com and click on our blog. You'll see all the DIY stuff, plus a lot of other stuff featured on today's show. You can also follow me on Twitter at Chet Porshow. I'm Chet Porshow, and I got designs on New Orleans. See you guys next month.
Chet Chat is underwritten by the law offices of Tim Fields and Faux Orchid, the nouvelle cuisine of Vietnam.